Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. So how is it going? How is it going with your work, with the process, with the outcome? How is this training? Is it interesting to see how many choices you actually have? And that is probably much easier than you thought to get out of that authority of that emotion over you and say like, ooh, I've got possibilities, I've got choices, I can actually do things in a much different way. That's empowering. When you have choices, that's power, isn't it? So now the lesson number 3, narrow and navigate. So what do we learn until this moment now? Well, now we know that an emotion is the daughter or is the kid of whom? A thought and a belief. We'll see later how to take control of that, but we know we have a belief and a thought. If they are in conflict, boom, the emotion comes in. Might be a good emotion, a positive or a negative emotion, doesn't matter. A belief goes against the thought. Then you also now learn how to get out of that fire, from that deep waters, so that you then don't get caught again in the same cycle. Through the framework, event, process, outcome, so that you can challenge yourself, how can I come with something which will get me to where I want to get? In this lesson, we're going to look at what is under it. Now, where this anger comes from? If that's emotions are part of who we are, where does it come from? So think of it this way. Anger is what you see at the top. So think of an earthquake. So there is the hypocenter, there are the waves, and then you've got the earthquake at the surface. So there is something in, then the waves, and then boom, 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 everything is boom, 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 is about to fall on the ground. What's that hypocenter? What the hell is wrong with me? Or what the hell is wrong with others? Don't they just get it? I told you 10 times and you're not getting it. Next lesson is going to help us to understand others. Probably we're going to touch that also during this lesson. All right. So now that you are in a safe place, using the event process and outcome. Now that you are in a safe place or on a lifeboat, it's time to use the tool from the previous lesson. Now and only now is the moment to get down to serious work. Remember, you can't reason with a drunk person, and dealing with an angry friend or colleague isn't productive either. The same goes for you. One major mistake I've noticed when working with people is trying to solve pain by causing pain, whether justified or not. If you're truly interested in making things better, you need to first find a safe space, emotionally, mentally, and even physically, to have a conversation with others or with yourself. Because your anger might be with you, you're dealing angry with you or with others. I want to take a pause here right now. I want to remind you that on the almost the last pages of this workbook, there is a QR code which you can scan right now. Get in touch with me, and I can personally help you one-on-one you can jump on a Google Meet call, and I can help you with this. If it's hard for you, if you kind of understand, it's kind of clear, but not really, and you need some personal help, it's free at no cost. Scan, click, get in touch. Amazing. Or if you're already a little bit more advanced and you already know this, you already got this, on the page before or in the description below these videos, wherever you are watching it, in your dashboard, if you are a student or just on the mostforce.com, I have a program made of 12 modules. It's called Allow Yourself to Rise. And there you have a 100-something pages workbook for every module. Every module is an hour and a half, an hour and 20, between 1 and 2 hours. So there we go, step by step, very deep in all the details you need about yourself. It's about how to change your reality, to understand your ego, to how to re-engineer your nervous system, your spiritual aspect, how does that influence your psyche, your behavior, your decision-making process, your emotional intelligence and freedom. Understand the emotions, but on a deeper level than this. how to control and manage and clean your subconscious mind, how to reprogram your operating system, the darkest side of your psyche. I always say our psyche, our brain also has a toilet room. So sometimes it needs to be cleaned, that as well. The shadow, probably heard about it. How to take full of your thoughts, another module. How to take bold actions and get results. How to connect the results towards the bold actions and how to increase them and connect so that you get the results of those bold actions. And how to conquer your dreams, the 5 secrets of laws of growth, of attraction, of growth. So it's a very practical, in-depth, extremely transformational program. You can access right now in the description here under this video, or you can have that call one-on-one with me. I can provide you even more information. So if you feel already that you got this, but you need a more transformational work, feel free to click, join, go into that program, start learning, transforming, changing your life right now. If you need more information, you can ask more information through this one-on-one call. You can download the brochure. Also, somewhere around this video, you can download the brochure of Allow Yourself to Rise. All right, so back to our lesson, narrow and navigate. So that's why we have to get in a safe space before we start to do some work, which will be transformational for you. And the lesson number 2, event, process, outcome, allowed you to create that safe space so that you can rationalize, you can think about things with you and understand what's going on. The aim of the previous tool isn't to solve the issue, but to bring you to a rational state, essentially preventing an emotional earthquake. However, an angry outburst is bound to happen soon. That will help you just get out, but if it's not solved, you'll get back. You'll get back. You'll get back. When your morning starts with spilling coffee on your dress, you can be sure you'll face countless triggers and challenges throughout the day. Just one thing goes wrong, you just woke up with the wrong foot, as you say, and everything goes south, right? Unless you're equipped with these tools which can help you save the day and quite often even your life, because it changes your life. You start to see things clearly, you start to connect differently, you start to communicate differently, you start to change the approaches. Because you speak to someone and they don't get it, they don't understand you, they don't follow you, then you can talk to them. Hey, well, what do you think? What are your beliefs? What are your thoughts? But later about that, your life just gets better. Imagine you're running late for a meeting and you absolutely hate being late. Suddenly, at a crossroads, someone asks to drive ahead of you. Then you get a call from someone you've already told you are in a hurry, but they keep chatting as if you're literally enjoying an aperitivo in Rome. To top it off, the parking lot is full, and now we have to wait for the attendant to figure out who took your spot. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking away, and you hate being angry, and so are your nerves. A rush of frustration runs through the back of your head, your teeth are clenched, and your jaw muscles are tense. You are on the brink of erupting with anger. But you won't do that, because you are not that kind of person, right? You're the other kind of person who does that, but later. You're someone who simply hates being late. But due to external circumstances, you are forced to be late. And that makes you feel angry and you're not that person, but external circumstances are forcing you to be late. And that makes you feel angry and blank. And what? Angry and? I don't know what you wrote down, but I will tell you what was for me. For me, it was shame. So what you've written in the blank, that blank. I personally hate being late. Sincerely hate it first. Sincerely hate it. First, I consider it disrespectful. If someone is late, they definitely don't respect me. And I really hope that's not true. Well, that was before. But it didn't change as quickly as I wanted to. It's not because it takes so much time, but for a deeper reason. What I thought about others and how certain I was about what others would think of me wasn't about them. It was about me. It was me thinking. I'm really talking about me, Alexander. It was me thinking that I don't deserve respect if I'm late. If somebody is late, I don't respect you. If I'm late, the belief is they won't respect me. How is that possible? Here we go. There was something deeper than the simple excuse I was using to fuel my anger. It was shame. I was ashamed of myself for not being the man I was told to be. And failing to be on time meant I would fail my father, who required me to always be punctual. Always! On one hand, he taught me a great lesson that served me well in life, but when taken too far, it can become an ideology and a reason to feel unworthy of respect. So for me personally, in that blank went shame. What was in yours? I really felt ashamed, like I'm not that man, which I would like them to my father to think of me, but it wasn't that I was thinking about it. It was a belief that was running there. If you are a good person, you are on time. If you're not on time, you are a bad person, period. Here are the questions that will allow you to unpack the anger and look deeply within yourself to find the source of this ravaging and destructive behavior. Painful and true, it's true to our own psyche. But today is your rebirth day. Today you can choose not to let that, what have you wrote in the blank, to not let that to bully you, not to let it force you to be who you are not and to dance to its music every time the bell rings. So now is time to look deeper and understand that those beliefs which we have formed, which are running our actions, our thoughts, our feelings, they are hidden deep down, somewhere in our personal truth. And because, hence the name personal, doesn't mean it is true, but it's an absolute truth. It is not an absolute truth, but it's true to our psyche. And because it is so true, when I fail to do that, I feel that I betray the values I've been taught. I betray my promise. I betray something which I have installed within myself as true, as truth. But it is not the absolute truth. It's true to ourselves. Remember, it's not about right and wrong. It's about doing it the right way and the wrong way. So those beliefs should help us to grow and change. But if those beliefs, which one might say, yeah, but that is good. That's how I've been taught. That's how I've been raised. All right, good. Does it serve you to become a better person? Does it serve you to get to that quality of life which you want to have, to that quality of relationships you want to have, to that style of leadership you want to have in your business, to have that kind of relationship with yourself, where you want to go to sleep being angry at yourself for failing here, failing there, failing there, failing here? So again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and no one to tell you that. I'm inviting you to question them and say, wait a second, what if those things, those beliefs, those programs, those deep convictions don't serve me anymore? I know it's a little bit scary because so now what? I've lived my whole life working and using them, and now I just have to give them up and that's it? It's not easy. But only a free mind is a powerful mind. So when the mind is controlled by those convictions, it's not a free mind. A free mind is a powerful mind. Only a free mind is a powerful mind. You can really think only if it's not extremely conditioned by some beliefs which don't serve you anymore, don't serve me. So I remember how many times I've been through so much anger because I'm late here, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, I should have done this, I should have done that, they're like this, they're like that. Sometimes it doesn't mean that they are justified or that behavior can be justified. It's not about that. It's about understanding what makes you to feel this way, to understand what makes them to act and talk in a way or another, which we'll get in the next lesson. But first I have to understand something about me, then I can deal with others. Otherwise, we will jump constantly in reactions. So, what's the framework? Is a little bit more complicated framework for this lesson number 3, narrow and navigate. So, you see, that's all about your personal truth. So, if you look at the page with the 2 triangles, I am, I do, I get, on the page where the framework is, then I prepared an example for you. So look, I am, look on the first row. I am, therefore I do. This is how I get. If not, I fear. And that is a disaster. Translated. And then you'll see how to translate it. So let's talk when you want to do something perfect and you just can't do it perfect. And I'm just a perfectionist. And you try to do it and people just don't get how you want it to be done and you get angry. It's not about that, so now what? I just should let everybody do what I want? No. But let's first understand where anger comes from. Because if you're angry, you can't communicate. You can't understand them. You can't listen to what they actually say if you're dealing with someone. Or you can't even listen to your own thoughts because you're busy judging, you're busy boiling. So let's take the perfectionism example. I am a perfectionist, at the core, my personal truth. Therefore, I expect perfection. Every single time I do something or I jump on a task, I expect perfection. This is how I get disrespected. I feel disrespected if I do not perform perfectly or if I don't get a perfect work done for myself or for the company. I feel disrespected between you and you or between you and somebody else. If I don't get it perfect, if not, I fear to be considered not precise. Oh my gosh, if I'm late 3 minutes, people think that I'm not precise, but everybody know that I'm super precise. Everybody should know that. And when I fear to be considered as not as precise as I preach to be, that is a disaster. It's a failure and a misery. I failed. Why I failed? Who have I failed? Probably a voice which is not yours, which shamed you in the past years, in the previous years. What kind of work have you done? Hey, can't you just do it better? So maybe it was just a one-time voice, maybe a decade ago, maybe decades ago, that shamed you or me. And now every single time when we are in situations where we might perceive that we failed to a scenario or to another, deeply I feel ashamed and I don't want to get ashamed. And what do? We defend and we react. That's why in the lesson number 2, I helped you to just detach and rationally get out of that. But that's just temporary. So now I want you to do some really deep work, because anger always comes from shame, mostly out of shame, or of hate. We hate something, and everybody, when somebody does something or something happens, which is going to get us closer to that hate, we don't want to get that. Mostly we use anger to protect a scenario from happening, and we get into anger so that we don't get into that. For example, if somebody says something in your team and you don't want to listen to them, you just want to tell them, just go and do what I told you and shut up. That's what we would like to, is because we fear that maybe our authority is at risk. Or maybe we are going to be, we're going to hate the fact that we have to listen to someone, but I don't want to question my beliefs. I want your beliefs to be aligned with mine. And I hate that process of understanding your beliefs. I hate it. So before I get into that moment when we talk and I have to listen for a minute or 30 seconds to you, which I don't have, but probably we do, we hate that. So what do? Jump into anger. So now we have to rewind, to re-roll this tape and get into the origin of this anger. For most people is somewhere, I'm ashamed of myself and I'm afraid that people will change their ideas of who I am. So I have to hide some things, and would hide some things when I see that the situation is leading in another direction. I'm afraid I will be revealed who I truly am. And people just won't respect me. I'll be honest with you. Now I'm pretty relaxed when recording a video. But I was so afraid to change the mimics of my face and to not just come across as a teacher and a professor in neuroscience, because I'm not a professor of neuroscience. I've studied neuroscience. I'm not a professor of neuroscience. So that personal truth of, I gotta do things in a certain way, huh? You know, because so the people know who Monsieur is going, you know, over there. I know it's nonsense, but it was such a personal truth to me. Now, there's a limit to it. It's not about, so today we're going to, it's not about that. It's about being who you are. If you're more playful, talk in a way or another. So, you see, we might be ashamed of our voice using the video, or maybe we're ashamed of being late. We're ashamed of looking in a way or another, and then we hate how a dress makes us look, or we might be ashamed of so many other things. So now you've got to do some work and understand what is your personal truth. So use this framework, and in the column of the I am, row by row, take one, for example, authority. I've got to have authority. Take that. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, a solopreneur, I know you've got the thing with authority. Everybody does, especially when you're into business. I got to have authority over things, or what? Am I a leader or what? This is not about leadership, but we could gladly talk about that in another program. Or just follow our YouTube channel, and it's somewhere in the description here, or is a QR code around these lessons. And get in touch, and we talk about leadership as well. So row by row, volume by volume. After you've done all this work, they are 14 minus 2, 12. After you've done the work, look at the column of the I am. And look at all those things and ask yourself, is this the best way to see myself? Because as long as I consider myself this way, is this helping me? Is this helping me to grow and change my life? Anger is a symptom of either a significant alignment or a greater conflict. Last page of this lesson. But I dare to ask you one question. Is it true that your friends will change their opinion of who you are if, for some reason, you are late to a meeting? And even if that's the case, are they the friends you want around you? In our attempt to earn respect through details and perfectionism, we might discover that true respect and true love are not about being perfect, but about accepting ourselves and others and allowing them to be human without lowering the bar to enabling and indulging in laziness. Perfectionism is the gun under which you try to smile, attempting to prove that you are all right. You are. And you are the loving human being who enjoys mutual respect without trying to buy it. Otherwise, you're simply afraid or feared, and that leads to even more anger. Anger, when negative, is the offspring of hate, fear, and shame. It's a hard lesson, and it's painful sometimes to see that we have adopted some things and we have installed them as our personal truth. But does that helps me? If all those values are then creating these waves and the earthquake of anger, that is the most important question of this lesson. Now, what to do with that? We will set some goals. Now that this is the deepest place we will get during this program. From this foundation, we'll rise up again, rebuilding it in a different way, in a new way, which will serve you to live the life of the standards and the quality you want to, without being under the control of this emotion, anger. So take your time here, don't be rushed, don't rush the process, and see what is at the foundation. And from there, we'll move to the next lesson. And from there, on a new foundation, we'll build up. That being said, thank you for your attention, and we'll see each other in the next lesson. All right? See you there.